Hello, my name is Prime, and welcome back to ATS Showcases. And today we are going to haul this sprayer from here in Moline, Illinois, and we're going to head all the way down to Springfield today. However, we're going to take a little bit of a shortcut across the 24 here. Well, I say shortcut, it actually makes the delivery a little bit longer, but they're side roads. So we're going to be able to explore what Illinois has to offer here for ATS and some of the more scenic routes. And of course, we'll cut through Peoria as well, so get to see another city along the way. And specifically, we're actually hauling the sprayer from here at the McLean factory in Moline, a massive complex that you definitely have to check out when you get the Illinois DLC. And we will actually be delivering this to an equipment dealer in Springfield itself, so a perfect end-to-end delivery for this early access look. So without further ado, let's get our Mac Pinnacle started up and get on the road. As this is an early access look at the Illinois DLC, everything you hear and see is American Truck Simulator through and through. There are no third-party modifications in this video today, and also if you happen to see something that isn't quite right, do not worry, that will be fixed upon official release on May 14th, 2026. All right, let's get rolling. Hopefully everyone's doing well. I certainly am. Once again, huge thank you to SES Software for giving me early access to the Illinois DLC. It is always a true privilege to be able to do so, and thank you to everyone watching these videos because, well, you make it possible. But yes, we are here in Moline. Well, I guess technically once again, we were here only a couple episodes ago, but we were on the outskirts, and I guess that was the very first the first look itself, wasn't it? But I decided, you know what, let's come back, kind of be more in Moline itself at this massive factory from McLean. Huge agricultural equipment factory and a beautiful complex by the looks of things. Oh, is that like a harvester out in the field, in the entryway itself? It sure is. What an amazing complex, and I guess we'll get to explore a bit more of the Moline area as we head out. But decided to go to Springfield today, but I didn't want to just take the highway route because there is admittedly a lot of highway route in Illinois itself. The DLC has some side roads, but maybe not as much as some of the other DLCs in the general vicinity. But saying that, that's also just how Illinois rolls as well. There's a lot of main infrastructure that rolls through the state, so it makes sense that there's a lot of highway and interstate network across the DLC. But I wanted to try and get on some more side roads, even like where we're driving right here in Moline. A little bit more of the scenic, nice enjoyment route, shall we say, not so high speed, and just be able to cruise across the state and explore what it has to offer in the more quiet areas. So let's go ahead and turn out of here and hopefully not get in an accident because I'm sat so far back in my truck because I may or may not have forgotten to adjust my seating position after getting the head tracking working, because that is a little bit different now. I gotta keep that in mind. So again, next episode we will make that correction in a lot of my trucks. I gotta remember to do that because I'll put my hand up here and say that most of these trucks you see in these videos I have used in videos in the past. They are just customized differently. I kind of keep an ongoing ecosystem going. I have basically every single truck option or different truck version, I should say, in my profile, and I keep selecting different ones in different configurations to keep it fresh, but we only have so many trucks to work with here in base American Truck Simulator, so that's what I do to save some time so I can get more content up to you. However, it is great to be here once again in the early access build of Illinois, and in fact, if you're watching this upon video release day that is, the DLC comes out tomorrow, which is absolutely fantastic, and hopefully this video actually gets up in time, because even though I'm recording it in enough time where it should, we have a nice little friend called YouTube that sometimes has its own mind on things and has its own plans. So hi YouTube, hopefully you enjoy this video enough that you put it up nice and quickly and don't decide to process it for an eternal century. But I must say it's been actually pretty good recently. I haven't had too many issues on the YouTube end, which is a nice change because it's normally been the opposite, where I've had too many YouTube issues and nothing happening on my end. Now there's been a couple instances as of late where there's been a little bit of a blunder on my part, but either way, you know what? It is what it is, as I like to say, and we go from there. So we've actually had some other news related, I guess, adjacent-ish to Illinois, and I'm going to really try and tie this in through Route 66, so stick with me. Project Road Trip. Absolutely wonderful expansion or DLCs, I guess, technically module for the game. However, that's actually going to look and play out. However, it's one of those things that we just kind of have to wait and see how the actual module will properly integrate. With that said, we've had a little bit of new news on the different vehicles that will be included, and most notably, just, well, I guess, as of recording this video today, we had a blog post on the Dodge Challenger, the Hellcat wide body. That's going to be part of the Dodge and Ram DLC pack that, if you purchase it, enables road trip. Long story short, whether you get the Dodge or the Ford or whatever other vehicle manufacturer DLC, basically, that SCS offers for Project Road Trip, you purchase one of those DLCs and the road trip module will be unlocked. That is the initial plan. And so it isn't going to be intriguing for me to see how things kind of evolve with that and how that integrates into ATS itself. Is that going to be where in, say, this very profile where we're driving in this truck right now, could we go back to our garage and then hop in, say, a pickup truck or some other car of some sort? That would be fantastic. Is that going to be enabled right off the bat? I do not know. Unfortunately, I am not privy to that information. And unless if something has been spoken about otherwise, which I would love to know, unfortunately, we're kind of just left here waiting, basically. But even still, the Challenger wide body, very cool car to have included in the Dodge and Ram pack. Great to see that there's going to be a good handful of vehicles available for the Dodge Ram and the Ford car pack DLCs respectively. So depending on which vehicle brand that you like to keep your allegiance to, that one, you'll have plenty of options. You'll have plenty of options indeed for whatever brand you want to pick up. If you want to pick up just one, or of course you can pick up both and enjoy the variety of vehicles that will come in with that. Now, you will notice that today's time setting in this video is a little bit later. We started in the afternoon, and for those with a keen eye, you'll see on the dash on the top right-hand corner, and well, I guess in the main digital display, you can see the time counting the way. And even on my GPS phone, that's on the window. Now, I decided to do more of an afternoon delivery today to shake it up a little bit. We often do right smack dab in the middle of the day, and for good reasons with these showcases, because I like to, as we go across this marvelous bridge here, I generally like to be able to make sure everyone can see the map DLCs, whatever content I'm showcasing, perfectly clear in good lighting. And that should remain the case for the majority of this delivery still as we go through. But I thought, you know what, let's change it up a little bit. Let's integrate in a little bit of an afternoon delivery, maybe hit into the evening where the lighting may go a bit more dim, and we are just going to enjoy the sunsets of Illinois and see what the DLC has for the natural beauty that comes along with it when the sun starts going down. I want to showcase that as well, because it is definitely a major factor, and many of us ATS players will be driving either throughout the night or into the evening, early morning, etc. So those transition times are very important, instead of just basically having every single video set between about 8 or 9 a.m. and about, say, 2 to 4 in the afternoon. So technically started off this video around 4 o'clock in the afternoon in-game time, and we're gonna just kind of ride it out into the evening. We should get to about, say, 9 or so o'clock at night, depending on how fast we're able to travel here. Traffic has so far been pretty good, but we're just about to get onto some more of the smaller roads, supposedly. This is the 24 itself, or should be, I think. So hopefully we can start to, yeah, it looks like we're starting to get onto some of the more local roads, and hopefully that will continue. We're going to get over here because we are going to be making a left. And let's see how it goes. But again, time has been looking pretty good. And also, my goodness me, the view. Look at that skyline from the right to the left with the ports. Incredible scenery here. And this is what I really wanted to do in this delivery. Again, love highway driving. So like in last episode where he started off in Chicago and went down to Champaign. First look video where he started in East St. Louis and went all the way up to, again, the east side of Moline, where we just were. I wanted to do something different here. And that little bit of a different is, well, head south once again, because we have only a few options for that. But head south, but take an alternate route so then we can enjoy some more of the, well, cities and towns that we have to offer, including settlements. I'm sure we'll get on the 24 here as we go across and take a different direction through, because technically we did drive adjacent to Springfield in the first look video. So I wanted to make sure that we get a nice touch on another region itself and kind of go more towards the west side of the state, or just for that matter be on the west side of the state, instead of, you know, staying more central or eastern, where admittedly a lot of the significant development is. That is a bit right below saying that, say, St. Louis southwestern end of the state. So take it as you will, take it as you will. Wanted to come to the west side to be able to fully explore that, and it is not disappointing, that is for sure. I've said it before in past videos, but I want to say it once again. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone supporting the channel recently, and most notably with the release of Illinois, and for that matter the early access. It always humbles me to see your continued support, your engagement, your kind words. It is truly lovely to see, and I can't thank you all enough for the continued support throughout times where I may not be able to post as consistently as I'd like, but at the same time, always showing up, watching older videos because I see those metrics, and just supporting the channel, still growing incredibly. We're closing in on 12,000 subscribers now, which is kind of crazy, my friends. We're closing in on that. Where the channel's still growing fantastically, like, I guess we're just greatly, whatever, fantastically, greatly, you get what I mean. It is fantastic to see, and I truly appreciate it, and the support over these first look videos and leading up to it, where all the comments are saying, wait, how do you not have the first look yet, and all this kind of stuff, in support of the reputation that the Prime Simulation brand now has. That is something that it touches me a lot for this community, that you hold the channel and myself that high, that you want to be able to see me create content, even if it means that it's a little bit chaotic and unknown, or I'm just rambling on in these videos. The fact that you genuinely want to see me cover a DLC early and give my thoughts on it, even if they are extended, let's just say that, I truly appreciate that. It means a lot, that something that I truly enjoy doing is received that greatly by an amazing community that, once again, is growing significantly for the sake of the channel, but also in the ATS community itself is growing itself as the game continues to evolve. It truly is amazing to see, and I love all the interaction on the past videos and your thoughts on the DLC. Glad to see that everyone is so excited to check out the DLC, and I also wanted to, not that there was any issues with this or anything like that, but when I was editing the last video in Chicago, I realized that some of my thoughts were a little bit spread out on basically my recommendations on the DLC, and definitely rambled on a bit. And if I would pick up the DLC, if I were buying it for myself right away. And I want to just try and kind of make it a little bit more concise, if that is ever possible for me to do. And I'm going to try it right here. So, long story short, if you own the DLCs all around Illinois, I would say 100% pick it up. If it is within your financial means to do so, I highly recommend you picking it up. Look at this scenery, my friends. The quality and playability of this map is fantastic. There are plenty of contract options around, some unique industries, wonderful cities to explore. 100% if you own the DLCs around it and you are financially able to do it, and you want to explore in Illinois, maybe it's your home state, whatever, all those reasons, do not hesitate. I think it is 100% worth it. If you don't happen to own some of the DLCs adjacent to it, and you're considering to pick some of them up, you could still potentially do so, and likely with the release of this DLC, ATS and some of the other states will come on sale. There is a good chance you could get a pretty good deal on a lot of the DLCs around the area, and then be able to go into Illinois, obviously at a higher price than those who already own the respective DLCs, but at a price where it's not as bad than obviously full price. So to that end, if you're also in the point where you're not sure if you're going to be driving in it that much, maybe you're financially a little bit tighter, and that's just the way that everyone is. Everyone has a different situation, and there's no right or wrong. I would personally recommend that then you maybe wait for it to come on sale. It probably won't take too long to start getting a bit of a sale on Illinois. It may be a few months, but we may start getting it sooner than later. And if that's the case, that's what I would recommend. Just holding off a little bit, because if you're not going to maybe drive around it too much, and with how the general networks go in the region, you may want to just hold off a little bit. There are many motivations though to get it, even if you are thinking, okay, I'm not going to drive in it too much for the sake of the main game, but I want to do some more specialty deliveries throughout it. Like, for example, going from Chicago all the way to California, and completing the Route 66, basically long haul, which may or may not be coming soon. Those kind of things are elements of Illinois that are very unique. You can't get that with other DLCs. You can drive through the Route 66 corridor and many other DLCs, and in fact, to do that, you have to own everything basically, or at least a good chunk of the core. But it is definitely an extra motivation, some of the more unique things. And I could see personally with Project Road Trip, some of these, well, I guess more pass-through states. Not that I'm saying these are particularly, but there are some that currently exist in ATS that admittedly I pretty much treat as pass-through states at this point. It's one of those things that I think the road trip will definitely help us, because it will give more of a reason for everyone to go through those states, see some different things, and just cruise around in the map, which I think is very, very neat, and obviously a great addition for the game overall. Now, as we come up here, I'm just looking at this bridge and saying, how many have we crossed already? Which is quite a few, but it's so interesting how each one is incredibly unique, and that is something, well, I say interesting, it's actually just amazing. It's amazing that every single one is unique, and that so far in Illinois, again, I guess another touching point on potentially why you'd want to consider picking it up, is that there is very, very, very little duplication from what I can see. The vast majority of elements or different like assets within the game, they are all custom. And that is something that we've come to know and love of recent DLCs, but I feel like Illinois here, as my head tracking decides to do something a little funky there for a brief second, so I apologize. It is definitely more impressive here in Illinois, just to the extent on which the custom depots, various elements within the DLC itself have all been fully customized, so then there is no cookie cutter, shall we say, design within the DLC. Absolutely fantastic, truly wonderful to see as we get some beautiful evening lighting here. Oh, that Midwest sunset is always so good. I think it's off back over there. Oh yeah, not too bad at all. Not too bad at all, my friends. It's one of those things that Illinois is truly custom, and that is something that I am loving about recent DLCs, is that they just continue to get even more realistic. No more basically a original American Truck Simulator California, where everything looked the same pretty much, with some little elements, all the roads, all those little elements on the side of the road, everything being so incredibly unique to the region is fantastic to see. And it makes me so excited for what the future holds here with American Truck Simulator as we continue to expand west and also expand north, or east. Sorry, expand east, not west. Whatever. Hopefully you understood where I was going with that. Expand east as we continue to expand east, and then also north into Canada as well, which is something that is coming along, and with British Columbia specifically, and it's going to be very intriguing to see where things go with that. And again, DLC quality continues to elevate. Is there going to be a stopping point? You'd think there'd have to be, but at the same time, the game engine keeps being upgraded, which is fantastic. And as basically computers themselves get more and more powerful as a baseline for home users, the game can naturally progress. But obviously there are those on more legacy systems that have to be kept in mind. But once the vast majority kind of move up a certain level, there has to be a bit of a, okay, we're just going to move on with life. Did he try and merge back into the lane? Because I'm pretty sure I had my indicator on for the longest time, looked, was merging, and he wasn't there, unless if he was in my blind spot, which could have been the case. But yeah, a big truck with strobe lights on the back and a long load sign and strobes on the cab isn't enough. I'm running out of fuel. Oh, I am running out of fuel. Okay, okay, with everything's just going on now. I'm trying to keep everything straight. Okay, first of all, no idea what happened with the AI. It's probably on me, but whatever, we'll move on because it's AI. I own the trailer anyways. Looks like the cargo's fine. The fuel, luckily we're really close. Looks like we've got enough in the tank there. The little light's on now, which is fun. In this pinnacle, but yeah, as I was saying at the beginning of the episode, my friends, this is what happens when you recycle trucks, shall we say, in ATS for videos. When you forget to refuel them before you change them out for a different truck, you get this, where you start probably the episode with a quarter tank of fuel, and then you have to try and haul this sprayer across the state, or at least south on the state, and go on a bit of a scenic journey, and then end up nearly running out of fuel in the process. I never said I was perfect. Never said it. Never will. Oh man, goodness me. But at least we're really close to the dealership, which is fantastic. And yeah, it's going to be about a 9:30, 10 o'clock delivery when it's all said and done. So we get some nice night driving here too, here in Illinois, which is good. Get to see how some of the city lighting works too, or at least rural lighting, which is great to see. It's another big aspect of these DLCs, the nightlife, that admittedly sometimes I let pass by because I don't showcase it enough. But we are here today, so that's all that matters. Now, is there a bit of an AI accident here? There is. So we're gonna come over here. Make sure that Crown Vic doesn't back into us. The bus and the car got into a fender bender and then just proceeded to move on with life, I guess. Whatever. Again, AI shenanigans. We don't question it now. We don't tend to question it now. It is what it is. They have a mind of their own sometimes with lane merges. Yeah, I don't know if I actually cut that guy off or if he just tried to merge into me while I was trying to merge into the lane as well. I feel like it could be the latter. But it's okay. If it is me, I'll put my hand up. Whatever. You guys can comment on the video. I was going to say comment in the comments. You all can be the judges of that in the comments. Rewind that bit and see who was potentially at fault. All right. Pulling into Springfield here, which is fantastic. 10 o'clock on the dot. At least at the intersection. Around the corner, that is, I guess. Wait for the light rotation. Oh, there's a train going by in there. Guess commuter train? Cool. Would that be the Amtrak? Just question. Or is that, is that more of a regional thing for the sake of Illinois itself? Comment down below for those who are more familiar with the area. All right, let's head into Field Force here. The equipment dealership for ATS. And we got to spin in here. Okay. Oh, we can just pull straight in. Well, would you look at that? Now, please open gate. Hey, okay, perfect. This is an opening gate. A nice entry gate, which is a nice change compared to the last episode that I tried to go in the out gate, and then the other side didn't actually have an in gate, so they only had an out gate for some reason. Not sure why that happened, but you know what? We go with it. And just with that, we are going to pull up and we are done. Thank you all so much for watching this delivery here in the Illinois DLC. Thanks again to SES Software for giving me early access to the Illinois DLC. It is always a true pleasure to cover DLCs early, and hopefully everyone is looking forward to Illinois. I know you are from the sake of the comments on previous videos, but again, comment down below if you have anything else you want to see me do here in Illinois. I've got plenty of other content ideas planned, but I can always add things to the list. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.